we have here?
Hyperion! My hero!
That is one cute dog.
Your charm alone's not gonna destroy the other two robots, Hyperion. Stay focused on the mission at hand.
There's Focus, Nighthawk. And then there's this.
Well done, Zarna, but behold true power.
Hey, Dr. Spectre, I got your true power right here.
Thank you! Go Squadron!
All in a day's work for the Squadron Supreme, Earth's mightiest heroes. Guess these things didn't get the message they lost.
Hyperion, no!
Iron Man. Of course. Who did you expect? A good guy?
Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your host, the man who speaks backwards for plot convenience, Kyle Charles, and...
the man who's made of justice, T.Y. Chung.
Wait, what?
We'll get to it. Unless I
Okay.
missed it completely. Unless I messed it up, right? But we'll get to it.
Okay. And
then if I did mess it up, I'll fill in where I thought it was.
okay, that makes sense. And we are back again, and we are continuing our sort of weird thing, that series we've done without actually noticing. Going back over the Ultimate Universe and doing major events of it. Just realised that's like a thing we've been doing for the last.
Yeah. So we are marching on to Ultimatum, right?
Yeah.
Something we've got to speak about, by the way, previously at the end of Ultimate 3 was Black Panther.
Yeah.
Did you read the Ultimate Captain America Annual?
No.
Okay, it's the Ultimate Captain America Annual that fills in Black Panther. But it doesn't fill in why Steve Rogers was Black Panther.
Okay.
So T'Challa was fighting the Panther, got his throat slashed, blah, 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 whatever, in the Ultimate Universe, right? And
Yeah,
Mark
I knew
Hunt's
he was
his brother.
a mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why Black Panther didn't speak, right?
Yeah.
So Black Panther didn't speak, Steve Rogers trained Black Panther, and then later on he decided to go back to Wakanda, right? But obviously had to do it stealthy, and Steve Rogers like, it's cool, I'll cover for you as Black Panther. Even though Black Panther never got introduced before, so why he's missing? I mean, whatever, right?
Why would you
But-
care? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that is that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't speak about that, but it's like your random character that you kind of had out of nowhere, and then pretend that he's always kind of been able to be part of the team, and then now someone's masquerading as him.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
For no reason,
Whatever.
which didn't help the story in any case
Yeah.
either. Yeah.
Because they didn't need to do anything. Anyways,
No.
the ultimate power we're having a look at is before Ultimate 3.
Yeah, I realised that while reading it.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have to pretend. Well, okay. So do that, insert this, and then we'll go to Ultimatum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why we are doing this for ourselves? I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
Even
no, but
though,
I
to
didn't
be fair, I've been kind of like looking at other ways to sort of prolong getting to Ultimate. Because I thought,
I don't mind Ultimate Power.
Yeah, no,
it reads
right.
fast, it moves quick, and especially when Bendis writing, the dialogue it flows really well, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'd like some more of these character bits. But when you look at it, when you think about it logically, some of this stuff could be told in about half the amount of time.
Yep.
The first 3 issues could have just been told in 1.
Yeah.
But they're entertaining, and that's why I'm like, I'll give it leeway.
That's why I was like, I didn't mind it. Like, you know what? It didn't outstay its welcome or anything. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's a breezy read.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So first issue, the Serpent Society, which is all females here in the Ultimate Universe, wearing snakeskin trousers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well,
you forgot to say, the art is by what's his name? Greg Land.
Greg Land.
Yeah.
The thing is with Greg Land. Look, when he was on Nightwing, way back when I was collecting, I was like, oh, this guy's artwork's actually really cool. But then now I'm looking at it, not years later, but you know when you gradually, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Gradually he's been drawing
the same
females
people over and over again.
Yeah. Some of their torsos are like in some panels way too long. Yeah. Which makes no sense as well. And then some panels they got really slender hips but really wide shoulders, and like proportions are off. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, and sometimes he used facial reference, which is fine, yeah. But sometimes at least you have consistent faces and hair, right? Yeah. You know, sometimes they swap different looks between the panels.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. But then you kind of look at it because it's nice art. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And then when you think about it, you're like, wait a minute.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes he uses. I've seen there's 4 times, not in this comic though, 4 different times he's used the same pose on different things. Yep. And exactly the same, no alterations on it, just different characters, different costumes. Sometimes actually twice, because he used the same pose twice for Batman when he got thrown through a wall or something like that. Yeah. Once for Nightwing and once in here where the guy's foot is being grabbed by the Hulk. So, but it doesn't make sense. Why would you be in that position? Why would you be in like a kind of crouched, like a fetal, you know? Yeah. He does it a lot. But anyways, the female Serpent Squad is attacking Project Pegasus, right? I was just going to say raising around, right? But you know they actually are doing something. Yeah, they're attacking Project Pegasus for some reason, right? Yeah. And the Fantastic Four arrive, the Ultimate Fantastic Four arrive, and Johnny's like, ooh, girls. Yeah. And Ben Grimm's like, yep, girls, yes. Yeah. And, dibs on that one. You're like, oh, that's a bit. Sue Storm's like, what's wrong with you? Oh, rightly calling them out, and then Ben Grimm says, well, you got to wrestle Namor, who was half naked, so you know you can't really say much. And he's like, well, actually, I can. And you discuss me. I'm like, well, you know, there's a joke there, but kind of, you know, double standards, you know. Yeah. But like, you know, okay. So you're telling me your retort to Ben saying what he said. You're like, shut your mouth, rather than, okay, well, no, don't say shut. Oh, you got a point, but it's just like, oh, you know what? Yeah. You got me on that one.
She could have said different circumstances, like that. Well,
yeah. So they're fighting the Serpent Squad. Basically, that's the whole issue, really. The Fantastic Four they're kind of fumbling around, but not really. They're kind of trying to they are working as a team, but then you know things gotta happen when you fight. You're fighting a team that's slightly different numbers to you, and you don't know the powers. Yeah. One does a standing backstab on Sue Storm, which is like
a lung blower.
Quite amazing, actually, when you think about it. Right, so she probably broke her shoulders or something like that. Yeah. And then one of them sneaks up behind Ben Grimm and punches him.
Yeah, it's so hard. Flying. I don't know if it was that hard or whatever, but one of his I want to say rock panels, but his
rock
skin.
Bits fall
chipped off. And he's like, well, never thought that could happen, and they all get confused.
Yep, exactly. And then they're like, don't touch it. We'll put in some sort of container, and we'll figure out what's going on. Yeah. And Ben's really confused. Yeah, they're all confused. They don't know what's going on. Yeah. Johnny's like, okay, like so they're asking why is the Serpent Squad attacking here? And Wendell, what's his name?
Wendell Vaughn.
Yeah, who is he is he Nova? Quasar? Is he Quasar?
Yes, he is.
Right, but not in the Ultimate Universe.
No, at this point, in the main Marvel Universe. Yeah, he's Quasar. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like. So why are they attacking here? And he's like classified, and he's like, all right, so what's going on here? What exactly? What classified? Just stonewalling. Stonewalling. All right. Well, you know. And then things like, all right. Well, make sure that you get these creepy cordy chicks, freaky chicks, put in jail, and then and they're like, they're calling it. So one of them decides to call him a freak, call him, a horror show.
Yeah.
Being all like petty, right? But it gets him. It gets under his skin because, of course, he's rock skin because, of course, And Reed's like, oh look, I'll fix this. And then Ben's like, well, come on, you took 14 years to mess up my life. I can give you another 14. But he's like, by the way, the shadows are drawn in his face is like, yeah. That woman's words are kind of sending him into a depression, but like
innit? Yeah.
she hurt him good, man. She hurt him good.
So
she got exactly what she wanted with her words, Yeah, and then Reed's like, all right, well, I'll tell you what. She goes to the Shield Council. I've made these devices to transverse dimensions, right? And Fury's like, right. What do you want to do? Yeah, and he goes, research. And he goes, no, you want to find a cure for Ben Grimm, right?
Yeah.
And Reed's like, how'd you call me out right away? No. I promise you. It's not. Carol Danvers is there as well. And looking different to how later she will look, by the way.
Yeah.
Fury basically said, look, Reed, you ain't going to do that under my watch. So you need to stop it, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Reed's like, he can't sleep. So he's like, well, scientists got a science, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't say no to me.
Yeah, sending these things through the portals. And, then the Fantastic Four are having, Thing and Johnny Storm are having a toy manufacturing meeting or something like that.
Yeah, with their like marketing team or something like that. Yeah, making prototypes for their toys.
Yeah, Sue and Reed come downstairs, and then the whole building kind of explodes from the inside.
Yeah.
Sue makes a force field to like protect everybody. They look up and they see the Squadron Supreme attacking them, pointing at you like Hulk Hogan would, from when he's talking up. Hyperion doing that anyways. By the way, have you read Supreme Powers? Supreme Powers? Have you got to the point where, like, do you know any of this?
I know, kind of, because basically they just was it an algorithm of amalgamy of the Justice League, right?
Yeah, but have you read the series Supreme Powers? What I mean?
No.
Actually, it's actually pretty good. It's like 30 issues, so it never actually finishes.
Yeah.
The first, like, you should read it sometime. The first half of it is really good, and then it kind of gets a bit where, when you're like, okay, it's not going to conclude, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's just gonna.
But it sets up the ultimate version of the Squadron Supreme, which are these characters.
Okay.
Yeah, the modern update, or whatever you want to call it, but we're going to say, the ultimate verse because it's not the classic Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, issue 2.
Issue 2 just basically starts with Spider-Man and Kitty Pryde swinging through New York, and Kitty's
which is good because it just suddenly it starts with a whole different set of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgetting this is like a weird crossover without being a crossover.
Yeah. So what it is kind of like how the other characters get into the situation. They don't just suddenly randomly appear there because they're conversing while they're swinging. They were swinging around New York, so
yeah. So they're talking about Kitty's trying to think of names for her superhero name, and Spider-Man just saying they're all rubbish. And then she goes, "Well, Spider-Man's a bit obvious, isn't it?" He goes, "Well, I'm a spider and I'm a man."
Yeah.
And then they see a purple lightning bolt hit the backs of the building, and they're like, "Oh, we know those guys. That's Fantastic Four. They live there. Let's go and check out what's going on."
Yeah.
So then we see the Fantastic Four fighting with these unknown assailants at the moment, even though we know the Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
And
which we shall name, I suppose, because because but you don't know these versions. Like, you know who they are, but you don't know this particular version, right?
I know some of them.
All right, go on. You name the ones you know, and I'll probably name the ones you miss if I don't remember their names.
I want to say Blur the Speedster, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Hyperion.
Yeah.
Warrior Princess.
Power
Princess, isn't it?
Power Princess, yeah.
There we go. Nighthawk. Tom Thumb, and that's what.
Yeah.
I don't know the others.
Aquarian. I think is the blue lady.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Silver Sorceress, but I don't know if she's Silver Sorceress in this one. Shape, I believe that big blob guy is.
Yeah.
Dr. Spectrum.
Yes, the one I missed. Yeah.
I don't know what the Iron Man knockoff is. I can't remember his name. Robot? I don't know. And I don't know what the Mexican looking girl is.
Someone's called Nuke.
Oh yeah, it's probably him.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Inertia. Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah.
wait, is she a speedster as well?
No, I think she had to weight changing powers. I can't remember. I haven't read Squadron Supreme not Squadron Supreme Power in a while.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
weird name to be called if not speedster. Yeah. So they have an altercation with the Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four are trying to ask them what you're doing here, but they can't understand what they're saying, which is really weird.
Yeah.
But
Oh
we'll find
no,
out
really
later.
pop convenient, right?
Yeah, like I said earlier. Yeah. Oh, see, they're trying to get rid of the trope of like misunderstanding. There we go. Yeah, literally misunderstanding because they don't understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Well, they are playing five-head. They're playing 4D chess while we're only playing 3D chess. That's it.
Oh. So then, while this is going on, Reed's trying to call Shield, tell them what's going on. Hyperion. Well, sorry. Thing gets kind of beaten up by Blur, and he's like, "Dude, you're annoying me with your little punches."
Yeah, well, he's getting punched, but whether the punches have an effect, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then Hyperion steps in, starts fighting the Thing.
Which, by the way, you will affect the spec with Hyperion's power. If a random jabroni squadron, Serpent Squad lady, can punch a piece of the Thing off,
Yeah.
how come the Hyperion's punches couldn't do it?
But then we don't actually know if she punched it off or he's just shedding. And
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Let's fall back now. That could be weird. Because they kind of hint it might be him shredding, but then this plays into something happens later on. Not in his book, but later on with the Thing. So then Blur decides... Nighthawk says something to him, which we can't understand, obviously, because it's in gibberish.
Yep.
So he speeds around America, and I think he notices that they're not on their Earth anymore, which they should have already known, because traveling through dimensions. But anyway, sure. So the fight carries on.
No. So here's the thing. So Hyperion tries to punch Thing grabs the punch, but like Hyperion's got super speed or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Thing throws him to the sky, and Nighthawk says to Blur to catch Hyperion.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
So why does he end up in Indiana?
Because he's running, but he doesn't know where he's running to. The locations are different.
That makes sense.
In his thingamajig. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you hear the car alarm?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Okay. Give me a second. Close the window. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Meanwhile.
Okay, it stopped.
Oh,
right.
cool. And
So we'll pick up from here.
Yeah, just carry on.
Yeah.
So, like you said, he runs way too far where he's meant to be because obviously it's not his Earth. And Hyperion lands, and Blur misses catching him, so he's...
Yeah, but this is like 3 pages of Blur running to the wrong places.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
But he does save someone because he sees him holding like a civilian or whatever.
Yeah. I think at this point, Hyperion's just going to crash into the ground and cause a crater.
Yeah. So then we're back to the roof where they're fighting Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Shadowcat, and against the Squadron Supreme. So Kitty sneaks off and tries to call the X-Men, but while she's doing that, her phone gets turned into flowers.
Yeah.
By what's his name again? Silver
Sorceress.
Sorceress.
Yeah.
And then the fight still continues. The fight still continues. Hyperion kind of comes back, but then he punches the Thing, and while he does that, you see a lightning bolt hit him in the back, and I thought, oh, it's Four's coming, but no, it's Storm from the X-Men.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Storm?
Yeah.
No. Actually, no, I skipped a bit. It's the Ultimates come, so 4 hits him with a lightning bolt.
Yeah,
Nick
because
Fury-
later on that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I realised
But
that.
Scarlet Witch with her extra long torso, like I'm telling you, and extra long arms. I guess she had the
Yeah.
power to, powers of improbability, right? A probability adjustment. She obviously adjusted the probability of her having normal proportions.
She's a witch.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows? And then so they come in. Nick Fury's like, "You're under arrest to the Squadron Supreme," and they're like still trying to understand each other because no one understands English. And then Hyperion takes out half of the Ultimates trying to get to Thor, and Thor hits him with a lightning bolt. And
Except that it wasn't. This time it was Storm.
Yeah. Was it Storm this time? No, it's not later on.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the way I read it was. No, it was Storm because Thor was like, "I thought the lightning was mine."
Now this
But
he
I
hits
see-
him with the hammer.
Yeah.
And lightning comes down.
Oh,
and
hold on, no, yeah.
It's a bit later on,
yeah.
It's the next one where
Mhm.
Hyperion gets hit in the back of the neck with the lightning bolt, and they find out that it's Storm from the X-Men. And the X-Men come and like, "Yeah, we've come to help our friend." And then suddenly the Squadron Supreme can speak human or English now.
Yeah.
And they reveal that they've come to arrest Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Because he destroyed their Earth. And then he's like, "Well, I didn't do anything." And then Power Princess shows them one of the orbs he sent to different dimensions to scout. And it's got like some fungus on it. And Nick Fury's like, "I told you not to do it." And they're like, Stu's like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And then Hyperion gives out the revelation that what he sent to their world destroyed it. And he will answer for what he's done. And that's the end of issue 2.
Yeah. So we're getting to issue. By the way, then So that's 2 issues of just fighting, right?
Yeah. Then
which was entertaining, by the way.
No.
All right. But yeah, so they're like, well, yeah. And I think so issue 3 kind of starts on the Ultimates, the Squadron Supremes universe.
Yeah.
We see it that is invaded by the fungus-like stuff all over the White House, and then knowing that it zooms out and it's all over Washington.
Yeah.
And Hyperion's like, "This stuff is weakening me. Something's wrong with them," but they're still trying to save like their universe from this thing that's spreading.
Yeah.
And so they basically just do kind of what's it called? A brief. No, what's it called?
Well, no autopsy.
No, not autopsy. But when they have the kind of the briefing thing they usually do.
Oh, like that DEF CON thing.
Yeah.
The presidents are at DEF CON whatever, and they escalate the blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you said the autopsy thing, I suppose it's kind of a post-mortem, but not really, right?
Yeah, kind of.
And they're like, "All right, so we need to work out what this thing is and where it's coming from and why is it weakening Hyperion, right?"
Yeah.
And Hyperion's like, hold up, I can see something within it. I can see this thing within it. So then charges through it, grabs the orb, the whatever that Reed Richards teleported, right?
Yeah.
We mentioned, rips it out and goes, "Right, now we have to study this thing and find out what it is." And so they put it onto, well, they get to the science department. I want to say the knockoff Star Labs, right?
Yeah. The Lab Star, as we'll call it.
Yeah. And then it starts projecting Ultimate Reed Richards, saying, "Yep, this orb here. Greetings, my name is Reed Richards. This orb here is just to find research about your planet. I'll give you research on mine. We will share our knowledge and make great advancements and stuff. This thing is in there. It won't harm your planet. I promise you."
Yeah.
All right. I am a part of a team of superpowered adventurers. Like, we're here to, cover data, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was research here, research there. We'll all benefit from it.
Yeah.
Except that obviously they're like, well, clearly it's not as Richard thought it was, because our planet is endangered. Yeah, we need to go to his planet and get some answers. Except that when they do, they decide to go to this planet and start a fight, right?
Yeah, as you do, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Hyperion, ever since he got to the Ultimate universe, saying, Reed Richards, now you'll finally get arrested and pay for your crimes against humanity. You killed 10 million people with your little research orb thing. All right,
Yeah,
so we're gonna take you and serve justice on our planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically what he says.
And
then,
they're like, everyone else like read, and then they look at Nick Fury, and Nick Fury says, "Everyone, stand down." And Reed Richards says, "I'll go. I'll face the." Well, realistically speaking, right? I think he's obviously saying stuff like he's going to pay penance and whatever. But more realistically, I think he's just trying to go over there, work out what's wrong.
I think it's because both,
Yeah, he's pretty sure he didn't do anything incorrect.
Yeah.
So there must be something else to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sue tries to stop him with an invisible shield, and he's like, "Sue, come on, I gotta go because I caused this." And Sue says no, and Hyperion says, "Well, I'm just gonna slap your force field and hurt you." Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all Hyperion wants to do is fight. It seems, whatever.
Yeah. Because that's what he does.
Yeah. Smashes the force field and sends Sue flying away as well.
Yeah.
And then Reed's like, no, please, look. I'll go with you guys, right? No one hurt nobody. Let's just teleport and go.
Yeah.
So they take him off planet, and Sue's like, look, Fury, I don't know what's wrong with you. Right? I don't know why you let him go, but we're gonna go and get him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Fury's like, look, all you people caused all this problem, yeah? Remember, Reed Richards caused the problem, right? But I will help you guys fix it, right? We don't want to cause more damage where we are. We want to go to them. So letting him go was a good thing, because then that way we can think about what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd all still be fighting, And where's fighting going to get you? Yeah.
Fury being Fury, as usual.
Yeah. Fury also looking like Terry Crews as well.
Yeah, rather than Samuel Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. So then he loads up his BFG and says, "Let's get going."
Yeah. And that's literally that issue, yeah. And then issue 4 starts with them all looking to the sky. Spider-Man's like, "Wait, why are you looking at me for?" And then they look behind this one. It's a helicarrier, and they go, "Yeah, we're going to use that to somehow get to this other dimension, even though we don't know how to get there." And they're all kind of confused until Spider-Man's like, "You know that guy can teleport, right?" And like, "Who? Thor?" They're like, "Oh." And then Spider-Man gets taught this Thor, and he's like, "Yeah, you know your hammer. Yeah, what's his name?" Basically, like, he asks about his hammer, and he goes, Mjolnir. And Spider-Man's like, "Excuse me, what?" And then Spider-Man can't grasp how to say Mjolnir, which is quite funny for a bit. And he asks how it's spelled, and it's in like Asgardian rune, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to try that." So then he basically explains...
Which, by the way, is a joke you can only pull off in comics, because however he's going to talk about the symbols when they're going to see them, like you said, if it's just an audio, right?
Yeah.
As a visual, you can see he's spelling it, but he's spelling it in no way that's an English language.
Yeah.
Or any language.
So then Spider-Man's like, "Yeah, sure, okay, moving on." And he basically said, "Yeah, if you use your hammer, like, we can use that to teleport through times." And everyone's like, "Oh." The next panel's kind of weird though, because it's got everyone saying like, "Good idea, kid smart," but there's no like arrows to who's saying it. But everyone's standing there.
Yeah.
Just easy.
But that's some stuff I think Bendis does occasionally. It's just like a gaggle of people saying stuff, so it could be anyone.
This issue wasn't written by Bendis.
Oh shit. Yeah. Okay.
J. Michael Straczynski. Yeah.
Okay.
JMS.
Yeah.
So then Nick Fury's
I think you probably got a bit of a
Bendis in there
because they're co-writing it. I don't know. You I wouldn't say necessarily co-writing it, but more like
they probably did
rubbing off on each other certain things.
Yeah. So and then they're like, "Cool, let's go." So they get onto the helicarrier, and then Thor makes a teleportation portal, whatever, to get to where they're going. So they all jump in. And they're talking, They're rubbish as usual. And then we see Hyperion back on Hyperion's Earth, and he's just in space looking down at Earth.
I was going to say, let's just say as well, Thor starting to speak less, bit more, less like ultimate hippie Thor.
Yeah.
And a bit more epic and grand.
Yeah.
As classic Thor, but he never goes to So you could say this is transition between this and Ultimate 3 Thor, except that was this is like Ultimate Thor, then level 2 Ultimate Thor, and then you got level 10 Ultimate Thor that turns into classic Thor. That's what happened in Ultimate 3.
Yeah. And he's looking over him, and we're getting a monologue of Reed Richards. Well, someone's talking about how they're going to use Reed Richards to find out what's going on. It's government people doing this. And we see Reed Richards doing some tests in the laboratory. And we meet another bad guy, Dr. Burbank.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
Yeah, basically. It is him. Yeah, just for hair.
Yeah.
And Reed's basically like, I don't know how this happened. This makes no sense. All I was doing was sending this over to you. I don't know how the infection come. And Burbank just being a dick towards Reed. And so Reed kind of snaps, and then he gets electrocuted because I think they fitted him with like a shock collar or something. So it's not really explained.
Yep.
And Reed's upset about
Burbank.
what's going on.
Burbank hits his. The way it took it, right? Burbank's got his handcuffs on. Cufflinks.
Cufflinks, yeah, and he presses that to do.
And it either shoots out electric or there's a shock collar or something like that. But yeah,
must be a shock collar.
Him being the equivalent of Lex Luthor, though, I suppose you could come up with anything.
Yeah, it could be evil
because you're that smart, quote unquote. You know.
And then we are back into the wormhole. We'll say that they're flying through.
The Einstein-Rosen bridge, or whatever they call it in the movies.
Yeah, the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, yeah. So Thor's telling them to get prepared because we're nearly there. So we see Kitty walking down the corridor and sees Captain America.
With a super long torso, by the way.
Yeah, and that makes no sense. Even what she's wearing makes no sense. But anyway, she sees Captain America, and Captain America's like, "Have you seen Nick Fury?" She's like, "No, I'm pretty sure I saw him going in this hallway, but I'll have a look." So she phases through a wall, looking for Fury, and we see Fury talking to someone.
Yeah.
In like a red room, and like, what's going on here? So then
being all super suspicious, like
being Fury, and then Kitty phases out the wall, and then as she's doing that, Nick Fury comes out and goes, "Oh, what are you doing here?" He's like, I was looking for, the thing." And Nick Fury says something that makes no sense to me here. He goes, "Going to little mutants room can wait for later." Like, why can't you say bathroom? Why you gotta say...
Well, because he's trying to do the equivalent of the little girls' room, the toilet.
Yeah, well, he could just say little girls' room. Why say...
Yeah. Because she's a mutant, and, we have to be a bit on the nose about it.
Yeah, we have to remind you guys that she's a mutant, even though we all know that.
Yeah.
So then he kind of shoots her off, and she's still concerned about what's in the room, because she didn't obviously see who she was talking to.
Yeah. And
then we see Power Princess fly up into space, and she's talking to her lover, Hyperion, saying that that this is all beautiful, and basically she wants to make love. And he's like, "I can't be doing this right now. There's lots of other things we need to worry about right now,
Yeah.
Like Earth dying."
Yeah. And she's just hoofing her chest at him, and he's like, "Look, right now, people get dying. This ain't the time or the place, or even, remotely the right situation."
Yeah. So weird. And then she tried to make a move on him, and he's like, "They're here." Because obviously he knew they was going to come, so he went in space to see where they land. Obviously.
Yeah.
So then he flies off to where the incursion is happening, which I think is the correct word. And then we see them pop out of the Rosenberg-Eisen bridge, whatever. And Fury's like, "Hey, people, get ready. We're about to get attacked by..." And then we turn over to the last page of that issue, and it's Thor flying towards Hyperion.
Yeah. And then we go back to some more fighting, right?
Yep.
This is probably the equivalent of the Dragon Ball Super Broly film, where it's just like, we're just gonna have a fight here, a fight there, and just a fight. Some storyline and then some more fighting.
Yeah, we just keep going. So, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I've been okay with so far in this comic.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it. It's like they had to have their rest period, right, to give a little bit of plot before they go back to. But you buy this thing for the fight. You know, it's Ultimates versus Supreme Power. The Squadron Supreme. You know what you're going in for.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just like.
Yep. So Thor and Hyperion are back at it again, trading punches, and they're like, Fury's like, look, some of you flyers go out there and give Thor a hand. The rest of you, we got stuff. We gotta find an opening, right?
Yeah.
Sneak around, do our stuff. Hyperion's just handing. So he's handing Thor, and then then Sue's like making a bubble around Hyperion, and Johnny's like, well, I'm gonna go supernova on you, and he just blasts him in there.
Yeah.
And all he does is burn off Hyperion's clothes. Hyperion doesn't like, I'm gonna heat vision out of this bubble, and it bursts. So basically, he takes down. So Sue and Johnny are kind of out of it now.
Yeah.
And then naked Hyperion is deciding to fight Thor again.
Yeah.
We're like,
you do.
right, okay,
Did
okay,
you beat
why
you
not?
up and you're going back to fight him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Fury's like, all right, so we're gonna go to their version of DC, and then which will probably counter heavy resistance. What we're gonna do is not invade, quote unquote, but well, we're gonna find out what's going on, right? We're gonna see what's going on there, and then they go, how do you know what their version of DC is actually in DC? And he's like, trust me. And I'm like, he tried to break it down to logical reasoning, yeah. And then he says, well, look, yeah, from what we've seen here, it probably is in that place, right? And they're like, yeah, but maybe not. And he's like, if I'm wrong, but I won't be. And they're like, all right, Fury, all right.
Also, quick question.
Yeah.
Going back a tiny bit, is Hyperion worthy then? Because he's holding.
Well, I don't think that hammer, that storm.
Because
that
that
version
remember.
of, yeah. But I don't think this one has the worthiness on it. This is the ultimate one, remember?
I think that counts with all fours, that you've got to be worthy to hold a hammer. Because even
I
when
don't
Hulk
know,
tried to pick it up in Ultimates 1 and they couldn't get it.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true.
Unless the only thing I can think of is it doesn't work. It only works in a dimension that it's from.
It is true.
Same thing I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're right. At the same time. Yeah. Maybe the enchantment doesn't go across dimensions.
Yeah. Same thing I can think of.
Yeah. Because Thor was actually more powerful in the Ultimates universe than he was here, because he took down 3 members of. Hyperion was fighting everyone, right? Not everyone at the same time, but he was getting, like, the thing was doing damage to him, and Thor was doing damage to him. But here he's more invincible. Yeah. So maybe that's what it is, you know?
Maybe. Yeah.
But Spider-Man's like, all right, shit, Nick. He writes down a piece of paper. I like this actually. It's kind of funny. He writes down a bit of paper, and Nick Fury knows something. He's not telling us, and he shows it to Captain America.
Yeah.
Captain America is like, yes, why? Right? That he, writes back on a piece of paper why. And then Nick Fury looks at both of them and says, "You guys got something to say?" Or rather, "You ladies got something to say." And then Peter Parker's Spider-Man's got a piece of paper, and all of a sudden you see his mask up and his paper in his mouth goes, "No," like his mouth is full. "No, sir." And he goes, "Good, keep it away." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of I was like, that's kind of funny actually. That he disposed of the evidence by eating it.
Right, good on him.
Then obviously the military are trying to take Reed Richards elsewhere, and he's like, why are we being transferred? And he's like, he's getting snowballed again from people from a different universe.
Yeah,
it's classified. Why are you moving me there? It's classified. What's going on? It's classified. What's that noise? That rumbling around there sounds like something. It's classified. All right. He goes, well, okay, like, I'm just gonna have a look, and they're like, hold up. And he goes, no, don't worry, I'm not trying to scam. I'm just going to find out what's going on because you guys ain't telling me. And he looks out the window and he sees everyone. He's basically the fight from his universe just carried over to this universe, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's fighting for me everywhere. Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh. And then that's how the issue ends. Oh, man, that's really weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then went to issue 6, where it starts with the Ultimates plus Ben Grimm and Shadowcat engaging in this battle. Oh no, yeah, engaging in the battle. Pietro, Captain America goes to Pietro, fight the other speedster basically. So they just
exactly.
Yeah, and Kitty's like, "What's happening? I can't see what they're doing," and they just punch each other, running everywhere, and then what's his name? Dr. Spectrum. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to get involved, but Iron Man shoots one of his Spectrum bars, whatever they are.
Well, the light construct, because he's the Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
So hard light construct, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And then him and Captain America start fighting. Him and Iron Man start fighting.
Yep.
And then we get Princess Power, and she's like, "Hey, you're an honorable man, Thing. It's a shame you're gonna have to die." And they start fighting. And he's like, "I don't want to fight women," but then he'll make an exception for her. So they start fighting, and then again, we're in the corridor of the secret building, and Burbank is being a dick more to Reed, and he's basically saying, "You can't go out there. You're stuck here, and we're gonna find out what you did." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Why are you calling me a liar? I've done nothing." And Burbank giving him more guff, like
as you would do,
as you do, and then Reed stretches out the restraints he has. I could have done this any time, but I didn't because I want to know what's actually going on here. I want to help, and then this is where he lunges for Burbanks, and then Burbank gives away some kind of his plan. And goes, well, I've done this scentless gas that's going to knock you out, and the only way you don't get knocked out by it if you have filters in your nose. And then Reed collapses, and then we go back to the Ultimates, and on the helicarrier, Nick Fury's with Scarlet Witch, and he goes, "Oh, you need to go out there and fight the Silver."
Well, it's Arcania. It's
Arcania, yeah. Got to fight
Silver
Arcania.
Sorceress is a different version of.
Huh?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So Silver Sorceress is actually, you know how like Marvel have, so DC have their version.
Yeah.
So I actually Silver Sorceress is the DC version of Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Wanda's like, I don't think we should go out there because
Wanda with her, by the way, her disproportionate right bust.
Yeah. Really weird. She's like, "Oh yeah, our powers are kind of similar, and we both kind of warp reality. So if we both fight each other, something's gonna go wrong." And Nick Fury's like, "Well, I don't care. It's not my Earth." I'm like, Dickish move, dude. Dickish move.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So then she joins the fight.
And may I say as well, in this artwork, Arcania's right leg looks elastic for some reason.
Yeah. There's many things wrong with this panel. But it looks great at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even Scarlet Witch, again, her arms look super long.
Yeah.
So then we see Fury. We're back to the helicopter. And we see Fury, like, getting all his guns and stuff ready. Talking about that he's going to bring balance, and no one will sort of know what he did. You're like, oh, okay, that's weird. That's a bit foreshadowing. So then he goes to his secret room, and he goes to the person in the room. "Oh, it's time to go and do what we got to do."
Yeah.
And then Fury's trying to be sneaky even more, but then he gets hit with like lightning, electricity.
Yeah.
And then Fury's like, "I should never trusted you. Yeah, I should have saw this coming." Guys like, "Yeah, kind of obvious, duh."
Yeah.
And then obviously the guards hear this go on, so they come running to Fury's aid. They'll get like electric shocked. And then we're back to the speedsters fighting.
Yeah.
and they both get hit by a lightning bolt. So they both land on the floor.
Yeah.
And then we see the Wasp and is his name Shape? Was it
Tom Thumb.
No, Tom Thumb, isn't it? The small guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fighting in a patch of grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he gets stepped on.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny. Seems kind of funny because you see him talking, and then you see him zoom out the grass, and you see the speech bubbles, and the writing's so tiny you can't see it.
Yeah.
And then
But the funny thing is whoever the mystery person, right? Did he step on them on purpose, or did he just accidentally step on them?
I reckon either way it would be funny.
Yeah.
Because I can see him accidentally doing it, but I can see him purposely doing it because he's a dick. The person who we're gonna see.
Yeah.
And then Arcania and Scarlet Witch are fighting.
Scarlet Witch with her long torso and Arcania with her very
weird legs.
Yeah.
She's like doing the splits in the air, which makes no sense. They get hit by a cook-a-boom, and they both lie on the floor.
Wait, do you think they get hit by something, or do their powers clash?
That makes more sense.
No, but I'm just saying, because we saw the spam lightning attacks before, so it could also be the spam lightning. You know, they got hit with lightning as they were doing their powers.
I don't know.
You know, electricity or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, but it's funny. We're just going to say spam electricity attack, yeah, because it just makes it funnier.
It makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then Iron Man's still fighting against Dr. Spectrum. Such a weird name. And then all of a sudden, his eyes start flashing, and he's like, "The enemies are here. We got to save the children." So he flies off, and Iron Man's standing like, "Okay, we're in the middle of a fight. Where are you going?"
Yeah.
And then, so we go back again to Power Princess fighting the Thing, and she's got him in like a chin hold, and she's wishing that he's
an upright camel clutch. By the way, I think.
Yeah, that's it. And then she's talking about your blood. She hopes that his blood's the same color as his skin, and she'll make his death beautiful, and things like, okay, sure, I guess. And then when she's about to, I guess, break his neck, I guess, or rip his head off, Dr. Spectrum flies past and puts her in a force field and drags her away with him.
Yeah.
And things like, yeah, you better run, because I nearly had you. And then, while he's sort of trying to get his breath back, he gets hit by the lightning.
Yeah.
Or something, and he's like, "Oh, it can't be you." And we're back on the helicarrier.
By the way, I am also just going to assume that he got hit by a lightning bolt again after this.
Same. So then Nick Fury's knocked out. He's like, he wakes up and someone's going, "Wakey, wakey, Nicky Poo," and then he gets up to start shooting because that's the first thing you do when you wake up from being unconscious.
Yeah. After being hit by a lightning bolt by a person that betrayed you, so I suppose it is kind of logical.
Yeah, because that person will stay around.
Yeah.
This guy's meant to be smart. And then the guy, whoever he's shooting at, goes like, "Oh, whoa, what are you doing?" And he web slings the gun, and it's Spider-Man. He's basically saying, "Fury, you brought this mess onto us. You know, why would you do what you did?" And Fury's like, "I ain't got time to explain to you. We got to get out of here." And before this person, we don't know who it is yet, kills everyone.
Before he
or she, could be she, or no,
Mm-hmm.
not. And then so they running off, and Spider-Man's like, "Dude, but I know the pronoun game could be fun, but who is this guy?" And then, because obviously Spider-Man doesn't know who he is either right now.
Yeah.
And then they get to the command room, and one of the SHIELD helps are like, we're in trouble. You know, there's someone who we didn't know was here. And like, oh no, who is it? And Spider-Man's looking at the screen like, "Oh no, you gotta be kidding me." And then we see the almighty Doom standing over Ben Grimm's body. Doom is now looking like he's 616 incarnation.
Classic Doom, yeah.
Except for the mask is slightly different. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's like, very nice. A new universe, a new world to conquer, a new tomorrow, a new Doom.
Yep. All hamming it up.
Seems great.
Yeah. So next issue, we see Doom fighting Iron Man because everyone else has been spammed with those lightning bolts that do. For some reason, he's decided to fist fight Iron Man, even though he's been spamming everyone. You know, he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to change the tactic right now. I'm just decide not to do what worked for me before.
Yeah. I'm bored.
Yeah,
Basically. It's just too easy. Yeah.
So then Spider-Man's like, Fury, you got to tell me what's going on, right? And Fury's like, I got all them guns pointed at you. He goes, well, yeah, but I can suffocate you with my web, and I can probably break your neck. Well, he doesn't say this, but basically, he's like, look, Nick, you got to tell me what's going on right now, because I could really hurt you.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's Dr. Doom doing here? And then Fury says, you know what? I'll decide to tell you. For some reason, right? For some reason, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you know what's going on. When we told Nick, when we deliberately baited Reed. This is the issue, by the way, where he's like going to fill in his master plan so the audience knows what's going on. But yeah, we deliberately turned down Reed. We could have helped him, but we didn't want to help him, right? Because then now make him do it behind our backs, and then we got plausible deniability. See?
Yeah, you have to pay for that evil.
Exactly, that's how smart we are, right? Well, he's not boasting to Spider-Man, but he is boasting to him. And then he's like, well, you know, I'm gonna decide to do, in my infinite wisdom, is to take Reed Richards' device and go to Dr. Doom and let him have a look at it in case he can help us make any adjustments that we need to it. Yeah. So why would you go to a guy who's trying to cut whatever, right?
Stupid.
Yeah. He goes, Doom's like, yep, I'll reprogram this probe so the data goes to S.H.I.E.L.D. rather than Reed Richards. Though I'm thinking, Fury, you could have just asked Tony Stark to have a look at this instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Under
the guise of let's tweak this thing, and then you could have done this, and it would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
But Fury, you got to be keeping secrets from everybody.
Yeah.
We got to take the device. We got to put the device back. I bring Doom. Yeah, I don't bring the device to Doom, even though he had the device to bring Doom, right? He brings Doom to all the devices.
Yeah.
And then they make the adjustments. Right? Okay.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And then he's like, yep. So what? Doom made the tweaks, and then Doom's tweaks caused all these problems. Because Doom got a Doom, right?
Yeah. Even though, well, we get to the bit later, it kind of makes Doom's plan kind of stupid anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man's like, if it's Doom, we need Reed. I don't even know why you let him get taken away to the other dimension in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's going to stop Doom if we haven't got Reed Richards. I mean, clearly Fury didn't think that far.
No,
but or he's just like, Fury, ultimate Fury,
Yeah.
So, Emil Burbank is now doing his part of the issue, where he's telling his opponent exactly what's going on and how they got to where they got to.
Yeah.
The unconscious Reed Richards, and he's like, I was the greatest scientist in my world. I had all the glory, I had all the money, the smartest man alive. And then he came. He could fly, Hyperion, with his massive upper torso, by the way. The lats are massive. Anyways, and his head's small, so he's just like, whoa, okay. Anyways, he's still my glory, yeah? He's still my glory. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this thing. I'm going to talk to the government and make this, I don't know, live is effective, whatever it is, right? Yeah. To take out Hyperion, because we always got to beat Batman versus Superman. This thing,
Yeah.
We got to create fights for no reason when there's nothing to indicate that would be a fight, right? So what we're gonna do? I've got this special thingamajig I made to take down Hyperion. The military, like some of the White House military people are going, yeah, we can do that. We can take him out. We can do this. We can execute it. But Emil Burbank's like, okay, but we obviously can never come back to us, right? Even though it is us.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're like, we got this device from another universe, right? Maybe we can use that. And they're like, yes, we'll frame this guy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, so he's talking to spiel, right? Because he's going to do that. And yeah, he's like, oh, alas, Reed Richards, you know what I mean? The worlds are going to, Hyperion's going to get done, you know, my plan's executed well. And then he's because he got strangled from behind by Reed Richards. Because Reed Richards doesn't need to breathe. He's like, I would let you pretend that to gas me, but I can expand my lungs. So I ain't breathing none of your gas. I just went unconscious to outsmart you. You thought you were so smart. You got to tell me what's going on now. Then we hop back to Thor with his creating lightning. Whatever he was doing before, by the way, while all the rest of it is happening, was he fighting Hyperion for this length of time?
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, it is, if you don't see it, you don't know. You don't think about it if you don't see it sometimes. Yeah.
No.
So whether he was fighting, whether he wasn't fighting, whatever. Power Princess decides to stop the beating, claps Thor across the head, and Thor's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna clap you with the hammer. Boom.
The God of Thunder. Bang.
And then Dr. Spectrum like tries to intervene, and Johnny Storm finally revives after what 2 issues been knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Thor grabs that Hyperion and says, "Villain, we shall have some answers." I'm like, well, I mean, I know you're saying he's a villain, but he's not really. I mean, yes, okay. I was going to say he's done a lot to indicate that he is a villain, but I'm just going to go by that's how you call people that oppose you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not saying he's an actual villain, but he's just like the antagonist. Yeah.
Yeah. For this moment, yeah.
Yeah. So Fury's like, all right, well, this is my Spider-Man. Come with me. I got a master plan, right? This is how we're gonna get it. This is what I was gonna do to sort everything out after we've got whatever we needed, yeah. So everyone's fighting each other, yeah. So what we introduced is a wild card to get them all to team up, right?
Yes.
And then they'll stop fighting each other and start fighting this thing, and then they'll make a team, and then we can all walk our separate ways after that because we've taken out another threat that's independent of everyone, yeah? And he's like, all right, what is this? Spider-Man's like, okay, what exactly is this wild card? And then we see the Hulk, Grey Hulk, Grey Ultimate Hulk, that's cannibal, you know, he eats people, whatever. And he's like, Spider-Man's like, yeah, what?
Yeah, why would you do this?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So then Pedro wakes up Scarlet Witch and said, look here, what's happening is you got to use the full, you got to unleash your full potential to use your powers, yeah? Otherwise we're all going to go, we're going to get defeated, yeah? We all could die, right? And she's like, all right, well, okay. All right, if things happen, it's not my fault, essentially, you right?
Yeah, you're like, well, it doesn't work that way. All right, sure.
Well, yeah, exactly. Then the X-Men free Reed Richards. Yeah. Then the rubble starts, even more rubble because the fire's been creating rubble. But the building they're in starts falling into rubble as well. And then what happens is we see the Squadron Supreme make an appearance. Squadron Supreme, like classic Squadron Supreme.
Yeah. In
the exact same poses that when the Supreme Power Squadron Supreme appeared at the end of issue 1.
Yeah.
And then so the next issue, Squadron Supreme versus Squadron Supreme versus the Ultimates. That's what the next issue box says.
Oh wow. Yeah. So
then you got the classic font, and then you got the the more modernized font, and then you got the Ultimates font. So yeah okay.
Right. Cool. I guess. Oh yeah. So So it starts with the Ultimate Universe guys fighting these new classic Squadron Supreme, and Hyperion says Squadron Scramble. I know.
Yeah, which is the equivalent of Avengers Assemble, I suppose. But if you're scrambling, you're running away, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So then they're fighting, and Hyperion's like, Wizard, sorry. You go and look for people So he flies off. He runs off, sorry. And Wolverine tries to fight Hyperion. And he's like, righteousness. And like, eye beams him. So Wolverine's
so
like...
this is where I got it wrong. You know when I said made of justice? I thought this line was when Wolverine scratches with his adamantium and tries to slice Hyperion. And he says, what the hell are you made of?
Yeah.
Hyperion eye beams him and says righteousness. And I thought he said justice.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
That makes all sense. So Wolverine's like, oh, well, you're one of those people that they can't fight in. And then we see Reed Richards fighting someone else who's also like stretchy. This is Shape, right?
Yeah. This is classic Squadron Supreme Shape, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a classic one. So they're fighting, and he's like, are you a double ganger? He's like, wait, no. Why would I be a double ganger of you? You idiot boy.
yeah.
So he wraps Reed Richards up into a ball. Then the X-Men, Cyclops and Storm, are trying to fight Princess Power, like, and they're still confused about what's going on. Like, why is this? Why are they looking similar to these people? What's going on?
Yeah. Why do they have the same powers and kind of like a similar signature? They're not dressed exactly like them, but they're kind of physically similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while that's going on, Wolverine's still fighting Hyperion. And we see Thor fighting modern day Hyperion, not classic Hyperion.
Still naked though.
Still naked, yeah. While Wizards running around trying to find what's going on. Then we see Iron Man and Doom fighting, which seems kind of pointless as well. And this is where Doom's like, I claim this Earth as my own, and Iron Man's like, no, dude, don't work that way. We see Blur and Quicksilver still fighting, and then we see Wizard like sliding to the frame and says something's wrong here, and Hyperion, modern Hyperion, is like, something's wrong. He says it as well while he's fighting Thor, and Thor gives some monologue like, you attacked our Earth, kidnapped one of our heroes. I'm the god of thunder, so you're gonna pay. Blah blah. And then we see Power Prince, this universe, modern day Power Princess, and Dr. Spectrum come in and try to speak to Thor. Like, something seems weird. Like, you know, I'm a warrior, I'm a soldier, firstly, but we didn't want to wage war on your world, but you kind of destroyed it. You kind of had a hand in our world go into crap, so we can't let you get away with this, you know. Basically that's what you're trying to say, like, innocent people getting hurt for all this, and then Thor's like, you may have a point. And then back to Iron Man and Tony Stark fighting, and Iron Man's basically saying, like, to Tony Stark, Iron Man's basically saying to Doom that you've killed millions of people with what you've done. And then Doom's like, you mean 10,000,001? And he executes Iron Man.
So with his lightning bolt finally, that, you know, he decided to use. But Iron Man's helmet looks really odd. It looks like E.T. in one of the later in the panel there, you get shot by lightning.
Yeah, it looks weird.
And it's
then,
like they put where the eye slits were, they thought that's where the mouth was.
It makes it look like it's a long forehead.
Exactly.
And then Doom's all basking in his glory, and then he gets a tap on the shoulder and say, hey, Doomsy, it's clobbering time. And it's a thing who gives him a Mortal Kombat style uppercut.
Yes.
And then he's like, because my pal Reed's in this mess, and it had your stink all over the whole time, why don't we kind of gather this? But it's open season on Doom.
Go on.
And then Doom's like, if no one is here, there will not mourn when you die by my hands. See, Doom says all the best things. And then the thing says, we'll see about that. And he rips off Dr. Doom's arms. And he's like, what the hell? He's like, oh man, I'm fighting a dang robot. So he just smashes the robots to bits. And he's like, I want my money back. And then you see, like, just like Dr. Doom's robot in just like goo, and he's like, oh, first he was like, I want to take this back so we can study it, and then just like turns into like goo, and he's like, you can't do nothing with that.
No, let me point out, right? Thing just basically accused Dr. Doom of causing all this trouble, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of right, but kind of wrong, right?
Yep.
It's like, you have no evidence, so you can caused by his behavior that it was him, right?
Yeah.
But how can you say I knew it was you all along, and then start attacking him for doing it without having any evidence?
That he actually did it.
Yeah. Even though he's accidentally correct in this case, you know?
Yeah. That's the just thing about it. Like, oh, you just thrown Doom on the bus. We know Doom's a dick, but
Yeah.
he actually didn't do the bad thing in this one. But hey,
Well, he said he did.
didn't.
Yeah. No, he had a hand in it from if you heard Fury talk about it, like Spider-Man did, you could think that Doom actually had something to do with it, even though he didn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the bait villain in a way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see Hyperion, modern day Hyperion back. He's all fully clothed again.
Yeah, somehow.
I don't know, maybe that's one of his powers. And then he sees old school Hyperion and he's like, explain yourself. And then old school Hyperion says the same thing. And then he says, people call me Hyperion. Surrender to me. So then he flies. Then we see the old one, the classic Hyperion, fly towards him, saying that same thing. And Wolverine's standing there saying, wow, this is wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the old school Power Princess says, I wonder why they keep copying everything we say. And you're like, oh, this kind of means something. And then we get a splash page where we see the two different versions of Hyperion fighting, the two Power Princesses fighting, and the two Dr. Spectrums fighting, and they're just repeating everything each other's saying.
Yeah.
And then we see Nighthawk, the classic Nighthawk, come down from a building. I think it is. Or he's coming down anyway from something, and he sees Captain America. Goes, "Oh, I know you. You're the Avengers." And then Captain America's like, "The who? We are the Ultimates." And when you say that out loud, it sounds so stupid. Yeah. And he's like, "What are you talking about? We've met. We fought together. You know, side by side." And he's like, "Mister, I've never seen anyone who looks like you before." I'm like, wait, well, Nighthawk's like, how? How is this possible? And then we see modern Nighthawk come, and he says the exact same thing. And Captain America's like, do either of you have an answer? And then we see Scarlet Witch. He's like, Captain, I warned my brother that something terrible happened if I use my magic here. And then we see two Arcania and Moonglow is her original name, apparently.
Well, yeah.
Or one of her names, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both standing there, and they're like, Witch, you have much to answer for. And then we're back on the heli character with Spider-Man and Nick Fury, and Spider-Man's like, are you sure you want to do this? This is kind of stupid. And like a third element. And he's like, Nick Fury's like, no, it's fine, we'll get them to fight together. It's strategy 101. You'll unite them. And Spider-Man's like, dude, this guy eats people, And he's like, don't worry about it. You could be my conscience. Like Jiminy Cricket. And Spider-Man's like, dude, it's Jiminy Cricket, not Jiminy Cricket. Did it teach you anything? He's like, who cares? Hulk, go! So the Hulk jumps out of the plane.
So it took a whole issue of whatever these people doing, right, fighting, before they actually unleashed the Hulk from the end of the previous issue, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, let me point out, by the way, the Hulk was probably in the chamber. I'm guessing they were pumping whatever it is to make him...
Sleeping gas, whatever it is.
Yeah, something like that. Because, but I'm thinking, right, so if our plan was to unleash the Hulk and they just said, oh, Spider-Man, I'm just going to sit down and play chess with you or something like that while we're waiting to unleash for the end of the issue to actually unleash the Hulk,
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, what you could say, though, is between all of that stuff happened.
Yeah.
All the fight happened in between everything else,
Yeah.
They're just kind of at the same time, but not really.
Yeah.
So Hulk comes there, starts smashing everybody. Hulk squished the fishy, so he's punching what's her name? Aquarium.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man's, oh jeez, I'm gonna. Fury's plans is nuts. How am I supposed to stop Hulk from eating people? And Hulk grabs Nighthawk and throws him into Ultimate Captain America. You got the three speedsters coming out, which is Quicksilver, the Wizard, and Blur. They spam punch the Hulk, and Hulk's like no selling any of it.
Yeah, it's like.
And then Hulk smashed he does this video game move where he hits the earthquake
Yeah.
onto the. Oh no! In the video game, he rips the floor up. It's the jump.
Devil wave. Yeah.
Anyway, So he does that. And he sends all these pieces flying, which, by the way, I think is actually quite smart in a way because they're not strong. Even though as much as the speed they can build up, they can't really damage him with all them punches because he's that invulnerable. And he just smashes the ground and they shockwave and they can't. Even though logically speaking, as soon if you're moving that fast, you'd see it. Comic book time. That's what we're gonna say. Yeah. Comic book physics. So then. So then Squadron, Skymax the Squadron Skymaster, Martian Manhunter, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, all right, well, Quicksilver, I'm gonna get some information from you, and then we'll go and work out what's what, right? Like you need to get everyone. And Quicksilver obviously can't hear anything because Hulk just created the sonic boom.
Yeah.
I want to say he clapped his hands, but he didn't really clap his hands because he smashed the ground, so it's not really a sonic boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless he did clap his hands and everyone went upwards, but then again, why's the New York Needle or what the pillar thing behind them? Yeah. Why is it upright? Yeah. Anyways, so he goes, all right, tell you what, get everyone together. I will buy time. Like use telepathy to tell Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Arcanias are berating Scarlet Witch, like, look what you caused here. You've halved all our powers by creating whatever you created, whatever the thing is, and they're kind of finishing each other's sentences and talking at the same time.
Yeah.
And one of them, by the way, has so she has a long coat, right? But she decides to sweep to the side to show off her glutes for some reason. I'm like, okay.
Made no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's not as if they were, like, for example, she was getting on a motorbike or whatever, right? And you can,
no.
But even then, that's kind of a bit dodgy. But there's no reason for her to hold her coat the way she is holding it.
Nope. No.
And Scarlet Witch, I don't know how to fix things. And they're like, don't worry, there's three of us. We'll us two Arcania is going to help you. And then you see Hulk fighting Hulk, classic Hulk.
Yeah.
Classic Grey Hulk fighting Ultimate Grey Hulk, and and then like Ultimate Hulk's like, nope, Hulk smash this jabroni here because Hulk is Hulk and Hulk.
Yeah, okay.
Hulk is the only Hulk there is.
Yeah.
And but he's smashing the fake Hulk so much that he starts turning back into normal Hulk, back to Scully and Skymaster.
Yeah.
Skymax, the Scully and Skymaster, does a double Mortal Kombat uppercut.
Yeah.
All right. And says, "You look like dinner," so he's going to eat him. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. And then the two Power Princesses come in there and smash the Hulk. And then you get a whole bunch. You get the Doctor Spectrum and Cyclops and Johnny Storm blasting the Hulk. And Hulk's like, Hulk can make a wish, and he blows out.
Yeah.
Johnny Storm's light, but I'm like, Johnny Storm is several meters away from you in the sky.
Yeah.
So you're telling me your breath is your inhalation of Hulk, kind of blowout is that strong that you get him?
I guess
all right,
so.
crazy. Yeah.
Sure.
Spider-Man rescues him. Ultimate Wolverine decides to stab the Hulk, and Hulk's like, nah, I'm gonna grab you by the neck, which he does, and then he goes, I'm gonna tear your head off as well.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't, because then he gets spam attacked by everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lightning bolts galore.
Yeah.
High beams.
And then heat vision and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then thing gets a I-beam. No, like an actual I-beam, not like the I-beams we're talking about.
Oh yeah, a beam. Yeah, a support beam.
Yeah, exactly. Smashes Ultimate Hulk with it. Smashes him a good couple of times. The Hulk then grabs the bar and says, "Hulk knows you. You're a monster like Hulk, but Hulk's the strongest one there is." And then you have the Hulk and the Thing having a fight.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is like, right, fine, it's logical, but they're not the only people standing. When you people attacking the Hulk with special powers, not ongoing, now you're just going to stand there and watch the Thing fight the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
All right. Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Then Spider-Man's like, "Oh, look, man, I got to do something. I can't have the Hulk start eating people while I'm supposed to be in control of him, right? Not that I can do much anyways, yeah." Sue Storm uninvisibles herself and says, shoot him with your web, blind him, yeah? And he goes, sure thing, right? webs the Hulk's eyes. Sue Storm then puts a force field bubble around the Hulk's head so he can't breathe, and then the thing, swing a big fist and KOs the Hulk. But it's like when you punch the bubble as well.
It depends. Did he punch him in the face or did he punch him in the stomach?
Oh well, then he knocked him out though.
Yeah, we could have winded him from knocking him out.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah. But what we're going to probably say is he punched him in the back of the head, and Sue, so obviously she's watching it happen. She let the force field disappear. Yeah. At that point. Maybe between the panels, she held it on long enough that the Hulk was going to start going to unconsciousness, right?
Yeah.
And then Thing punched him. Yeah. But they couldn't. They're not going to have the same panel just there, static in time, so the Hulk can't breathe.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Anyways, the Thing knocks it, Ultimate Hulk out. The Arcanias and the Scarlet Witch finally got their stuff together and sorted reconstructed wherever people are meant to be back to where they are.
Yeah. Mostly back into one, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Hyperion's like, look, Reed Richards still got to answer for his crime against our planet, right? And Spider-Man's like, it was not him, it was Nick Fury.
Yeah.
He brought Doom. And then Nick Fury in the tries to get it, and the helicarrier is like, that bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. And then Cutie Pride out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Comes through the and goes, no you're not, and we knew we couldn't trust you. So yeah. I was here to keep on watching you, and you're screwed, mate. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna get out. And then he gets muffled by Shape, who also disappeared for a long while. And I want to say this is the Supreme Power Shape, but it doesn't actually say which one it is.
It would be, innit? Yeah, it would be.
No, because it's the Squadron Supreme Shape and Supreme Power Shape.
Oh.
Anyways, Nick Fury's arrested.
No, it would be because they merged back together now, so it would be.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah. So they're like, all right, we'll arrest Nick Fury, even though logically we know, by the way, and Reed Richards should know that it was Emil Burbank that caused the other thing, right?
Yeah.
But I think they're like, well, Reed Richards brought Doom, and then they caused all these other shenanigans, which we all went to fight each other for no reason, right? When everything could have been resolved peacefully. So we'll deal with the Ultimate's like, we'll deal with Dr. Doom on our side.
Yeah.
The Ultimate's like, all right, fine, we'll deal with Emil Burbank on our side, right? But who's going to deal with this traitor right here that's in front of us?
Yeah.
This scumbag, Nick Fury. They're like, all right, well, I'll tell you what. This is our compromise. What we'll do, yeah? Nick Fury tries to get aggressed against our world, the Squadron Supreme world, yeah? So he'll stand trial here, yeah? And then they're saying, how do you know? The Ultimate's like, but Hyperion's like, okay, but we need to know what happened on your world, as in, how can we trust you Ultimates, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
And Power Prince says, look, I will return to their world to learn about them as well. So we'll just trade. Nick Fury stays here. Power Princess will go over there. And then we will know everything. Like, well, there'll be communications and you can know who you can trust. Yeah. Well, definitely they can trust Power Princess. No one can trust Fury, apparently. No. You kind of, But, so Hyperion and Power Princess, they share their final kiss.
Yeah.
They teleport back to their respective worlds, and they're like, you know what? The Ultimates are like, you know what? Yeah, things all went well, even though they were kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Zada is kind of hot.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, okay. Yeah. So thing goes back. Sorry, we're back with the Fantastic Four. And Reed's like, sorry, Ben. I didn't mean for this to happen. I'll still try and find a way to fix this thing. Yeah. And then things like that bit of my shell that fell off me, it grew back. right? So I guess I'll be that thing for a very long time. You don't have to worry about me falling apart physically.
Yeah.
And Reed obviously feeling guilty is like, look, I'll whatever I need to do, I'll do it. And he goes, no, Reed, don't say that, because what you did was you almost destroyed 3 universes by making that promise.
Yeah.
So you don't guilt yourself. I knocked down the Hulk though. That's something to be celebrated, right? Yeah. Even though he's saying in a way that he's not celebrating it, but he's just like, yeah, let's Reed, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Read the room. Just leave me alone for a while.
Yeah. I knocked down the Hulk. I got to be idol of millions. Now I've got to get my beauty sleep. So and Reed's like all solemn, like looking at a photo. Like he's leaving the room, and then like the last panel was Ben Grimm looking at a photo of himself with Reed Richards way back in the day when he was an American football player in high school. But you can see in the reflection that he's just crying tears because he will never. What was he's just crying tears because he's like he longed for when he wished he could heal himself and become the proper original Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
But it was funny. He's like he's looking at a reflection. You ever know the story of Narcissus?
What Narcissus?
No, Lex Luger.
Oh right.
No. But it was I guess they kind of used a similar gimmick. But Narcissus was he could never find someone as beautiful as himself. Right? He saw his reflection in the river, and he saw how beautiful he was. And then he realized he could never want to have someone as beautiful as himself, so he kills himself.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I was about to say, Ben Grimm looking at his reflection in the thing, crying because he could never have, but obviously it's not appropriate there because that's kind of, I mean, it's quite a sad ending.
Yeah.
You never see someone as beautiful as himself. But anyways, so that's all action, all, Mama Jamma there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it.
It there wasn't much going on, right?
No.
But it looks good.
Yeah.
It's
very much
there's
like
not much going on, but it's enough to keep you interested.
Yeah. It's very much like a bimbo with some education.
Yeah. Nicest way of putting
Right.
it. Yeah.
I mean, so Ultimates is your toxic girlfriend, yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like you're a slightly educated bimbo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say plastic bimbo, but she looks good, but she kind of like is a bit kind of not much. Himbo bimbo,
substance.
that sort of yeah. And then we'll say Supreme Power. Ultimate 3 is your hot kind of your hot mess, right? Completely and utterly. Your drug addicted hot mess.
Yeah, it's pretty to look at, but there's nothing behind those dead eyes.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
But I'd say if I had to say between the Ultimate Supreme Power and Ultimate Power, Ultimates, Ultimate Power, and Ultimate 3. I like this one the most. I like this one. I'd say of the 4, if you want to include Ultimates 1 as well, probably this one the most.
Yeah, same.
Because even though it could have be done in 6 issues, or 5 even, it's like, okay, this is cool. The story moves along so quickly. There's no downtime, but it's not cringe either. You know?
And there's not like dated pop culture references in it either, like the others have, which date it automatically. Yeah, man. I really enjoyed it.
So yeah. But we're gonna go on to Ultimatum, which we. Oh dear, yeah. Let's see. I mean, I don't have good memories of that at all, right?
No.
Yeah. And
I've read it a few times. Each time I haven't liked it anymore. If anything,
I've
disliked it more.
Yeah. We should also point out that Wasp is still white in this.
Was she white in this?
Well, she definitely was an Asian.
To be fair, you don't hardly see her, but yeah, you're right. The panels you do see her.
I think okay, maybe she's half in this one, yeah. But then that's her transition from somehow you're a fully grown woman, yeah. You transition from Asian to half Asian to just like Chun-Li, Legend of Chun-Li, right? Except she did reverse.
Yeah,
Legend of Chun-Li. Remember, she went from white to Asian.
Yeah. Yeah, she did, didn't she? Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. that's that for this, right?
Yeah.
Which we're like, I'll give a thumbs up, even though, like we said, yeah, you breeze through it quickly, so there's nothing offensive about it, right? It is basically a fight for like 8 issues.
Yeah,
7 issues of this. If you took all the fight and just put it back to back, you'd probably 7 issues of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been neater to have the Avengers crossover as well, but you know they can only do so much, I guess.
Yeah.
But we know what we're in for because it's going to be them versus them. There's no reason to have anything else, right? I mean, to bog it down with any more stuff. The story is basic, but it's what you expected. So you know.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they didn't do much with Zada, as we saw, was not even in Ultimates.
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, whatever happens to it? Because
yeah, exactly. And Nick Fury, I don't think he did much in the Supreme Power universe either. So
no, because I think he ended up coming back very soon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a pointless swap. You know, I mean, it could have been interesting ideas, but it just didn't do anything with it. You know. No. I think they muddled the stories that were going on with these things that the swap that just happened for no reason.
Also, you know, I might have happened that they wasn't aware that Ultimatum was coming next.
Oh yeah, it's true. Maybe.
Because I know in the last issue...
So Jeph Loeb was one of the writers, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, fully knew what was going on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to say probably at the point where they got to Ultimates 3 and they realized how much trash it was going on. Yeah. It was just like, you know what? Yeah. We're going to have to, by the way, when we finish reading when we go through Ultimatum, what type of toxic girlfriend Ultimatum is going to be. So yeah. All right. Yeah. So you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Is what it is, nothing more, right?
Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm the man who's going to repeat exactly what you're saying because I'm the clone of you, Siwai-chan.
And I am the man who would bring a evil supervillain along to a rescue mission on another planet, another dimension, without telling anyone. And then be shocked when I realise he betrays me, Carl Charles. That's so stupid. And thank you for listening to us talk about Ultimate Powers. If you've read it or plan to read it, let us know. Don't forget, you can share this with your friends using the old internet machine. All the links to our social media and stuff is down below. Look out for our YouTube channel because there's stuff happening there. What else can I say? That's it really. But yeah, thank you all for listening to Trip Around the Multiverse. Also, quick plug. If you like Star Trek, my friends have a podcast called Four Quadrants, and I've gone back to the beginning of Star Trek, and they're basically reviewing it up to a certain point. Yeah, and I might appear on it one day, I don't know. But anyways, that's Four Quadrants. You can find them on that stuff. Anyways, but thank you all for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. And until next time, guys, bye.
Bye.
Get down!
Earth's mightiest Zeros. We've already destroyed one planet that refused to bow to us. We're not afraid to do it again. Unless the Avengers surrender. Now.
Thor, hold the light! Everyone else, focus on the Citadel!
Halt, villains! The battle stops here!
Ridiculous. You might buy your team a few seconds, but you can't stand up to the Squadron Surpreme by yourself.
You may have strength in numbers, but I have strength in this!
That will not be enough, Asgardian.
A warm-up.
You're going to wish you stayed down.
As Guardians do not make wishes, we make law!